I'd like to introduce you to Dorene Goldstein, who's been a certified legal nurse consultant since 2001, owner of Goldstein Nurse Consultants. Thanks, Dorene, for being here with me today.
Thank you, Vicki.
I wanted to talk to you because I think that your CLNC business is so interesting, and especially because you work with one of the largest corporations in the country. You work with them independently, and I know you started first meeting with them about 7 years ago. So tell us, how did you get in with this giant corporation who now, according to you, represents almost 80% of your business?
Yeah, well, it's interesting, Vicki, because I took your advice from the beginning when I started that, your business is going to grow and your opportunities are limitless. And I exhibited at an attorney conference, and I met general counsel for this elevator company. And through about 9 months of sending out letters and following up with phone calls, I was able to get into their office in front of a bunch of the attorneys and paralegals, do a presentation, and finally gain their trust to use me on a case.
Okay, so it took 9 months. So that meant you had to do a lot of follow-up. Specifically, what did you do?
I started with a thank you letter for meeting me at the exhibit conference itself and offering them a free case screening. They won the free case screen in a drawing that we had. And through that, I made the phone calls. When do you want to use it? Which case would you like me to get started with? And it took a little while to get to the right person, but I knew that they were interested, and I just kept at it.
Okay, so you had to build that relationship. And I think that's the most important message for so many consultants, because I know when I mentor people, and I know you mentor our certified legal nurse consultants as well, that so often somebody contacts somebody, they meet them for the first time, and then what do? They just give up. But it does take some of that follow through. It takes building a relationship. This is a relationship business, and
Absolutely.
So you did it, and it took 9 months, and I think that's important for people to hear, because that 9 months paid off. They now represent 80% of your business. That's awesome. All right, so tell us a little bit about what you do, specifically what you do.
Well, what I do is I work with the legal department at this elevator company, and attorneys from all over the United States, Canada, send me cases, and it's usually somebody who has been hurt in either an elevator or an escalator. And I look through these files, determine if records are missing. I start with the damages, how they got injured, and if the actual injury could have happened from the elevator or not. And more often than not, it doesn't.
Okay, so you're definitely defense focused.
Yes, it is defense.
And I suspect that there's a lot of times that you can tell that maybe they either exaggerated an injury or maybe they just made it up altogether.
Unfortunately, yes, we see that. For instance, we had a case where a gentleman was at work, so there is some workers' compensation aspect to this. He was at work when he was in a freight elevator. The freight elevator made a hard stop. He did fall to his buttocks, and he admitted to falling on his buttocks. He had complaints of a back injury in the emergency room, but a few months later, a torn meniscus in his knee. So we were able to say that the torn meniscus was not an acute injury.
Okay, so basically you can help to identify what's related and what's not related.
Yes.
I know I can never get in an elevator without thinking about you.
Thanks.
In fact, I was in New York City at the airport. We got in the elevator and I started doing the song and dance for New York, New York. And Tom said one word, Dorene, and I instantly stopped. So you want to explain why I stopped?
Sure. Well, with these elevator cases, oftentimes we get footage or surveillance. And yes, you are watched in elevators. There's video cameras watching everything, so just be careful. You would be amazed at the things I have seen.
Yeah, so that's a great way, too, for the elevator company to know if somebody's malingering.
Right, right. We have seen that also.
What would you recommend to certified legal nurse consultants that are interested in going to corporations and marketing their services? What would be your advice to them?
Just not to give up. I mean, don't give up. Believe in yourself. Believe that you have a service that's going to help the attorneys and the corporation, and just know that you have the support of the mentors and yourself.
Okay. Thank you so much, and thanks for sharing your success.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you.
It's such a great pleasure to talk to you today.
Thank you.